Okay, so I'm going to try to keep it short, but if you at any time feel like stopping me to answer anything or do you have any doubts, please don't hesitate to do that. So my name is Alberto Dominguez. I'm the recruitment and promotion manager, communication manager in Campus Spain. I will divide this presentation in three different blocks. Why Spain is a good destination to take university studies abroad. Secondly, I will talk about Spanish university system, how is it work, and how to access to it. And finally, I will talk about Campus Spain, our organization, which I'm representing here today, what we do, how we help our students, and the main reason of our existence, which is the LCA program we have created for international students. After that, we will have some time to ask questions and resolve doubts, okay? So with no further ado, let's start with it. So Spain is located in Southwest Europe, as you can see in this map. Probably you all know this. So why Spain is such a good destination to take university studies abroad? First of all, I like to begin with this always, it's safety. It's a really safe country for international students, and it's considered to be the best country to study in university in terms of safety nets. It's also a very tolerant country, and universities have a very good worldwide reputation. Aside of this, it's a very beautiful place. We have been ranked the second country in the world with most UNESCO heritage places, as you can see here in this slide. We have a very good variety of landscapes, from big cities to small historic towns, big mountains, the coastal regions, the islands. Everything is quite beautiful, so you will be able to relocate in the city and the university that you will like the most. Another facts about Spain is that it's a very solid democracy. It has a very good life expectancy, being the second most longer life in the world. We have also a very good healthcare system. It's completely free for everyone, even for international students that are in the country. In terms of economy, the economy is actually doing quite well, especially since the pandemic years. We are the country in Europe that is experiencing the highest growth in GDP. So it is also very attractive for people that want to invest in the country or maybe open a business after the bachelor's degree or master's degree. These are, for example, some examples of big companies we have in Spain, and a very good feature about Spanish universities, which I will talk later. But a very good feature is that all the bachelor's degree have mandatory internships. So all of these big companies have agreements with universities to allow students to do the internships with them. And some of them might even be future employers of the students. So this is a big chance you can profit as well. And last but not least, obviously, the language. Spanish language is very easy to learn, especially for Philippine students, because, as you will know, the Philippine Islands were part of Spain one day, and you conserve a lot of Spanish words in Tagalog language, which also is very quite shocking when you arrive here and you start to discover, no, this is the same than in Tagalog, for example. So for your case, for Filipino students, it's even easier to learn. It's the official language in 21 countries. So a lot of them have it like a national language as well. And it's the second most important language in the world, only after Chinese by the native speakers and only after English for business purposes. This brings up 500 million, more than 500 million people that are able to speak Spanish. And as you can see in this map, the populations are widely spread, especially throughout America, and Europe. Another very interesting fact about Spain is that Spanish culture is actually being exported massively throughout the world right now. So a lot of people would know these TV series, music, cinema, fashion, sports. So all of these are quite known. I don't know if you know any one of them. But yeah, that's the main topics that we want to talk about Spain. I will start now with the Spanish university, okay? So we have two types of university in Spain, public universities and private universities. The main difference here is not about the quality of education you get from one or another, but the tuition fees you pay. We have 50 public universities, as you can see in this map, spread throughout all the territory of Spain. Instead, we have 42 private universities that are usually more focused on the bigger cities in Spain, such as Madrid, Barcelona, or Valencia. As I was telling before, the difference is not about the quality of education because both follow up European standards of education, but the tuition fees you pay for one or another. So private universities are usually more expensive. A typical tuition fee in a private university would be around 8,000 euros to 10,000 euros, approximately. Instead, public universities are highly subsidized by the Spanish government, and up to 90% of this tuition fee would be already paid by this government. So this ends up being in a tuition fee of around 700 euros, 8,000 euros, maybe a little bit more than 1,000 euros, but not much. As you can see, this is very affordable. In this map, you can find the difference between the regions of Spain in terms of tuition fees for universities. The red areas are Madrid and Barcelona areas, and these are the most expensive ones for international students because these bigger cities also receive a majority of international students. So the local governments don't subsidize as much as in other regions. But as you can see in the map, you can see like mostly all the territory of Spain is marked in green. And this means that they have the lower tuition fees for public universities. Just to support my idea that quality of education is both in private and public universities very high, I will also, I will not detain a lot in here, but I put some rankings, some world rankings for universities, and you can see that finance field, business field, marketing, some engineering or hospitality and tourism, for example, is another very good area to study. All of this has been placed in very high positions, in top positions in worldwide rankings of education. And another example I want to give, just to rest assured that the quality of education in public universities is really good, is these people here. What they have in common is that they have all studied in public universities in Spain. And now they are having leading positions in big companies throughout the world as well. For example, like Meta or Google or even NASA. Another very good feature about studying in Spain is that with your student visa, you will have the ability to travel throughout Europe without having to ask for more visas or immigration papers or whatever. With your student visa, the doors to Europe are open, so you can freely move all around these countries. And this brings up another advantage of European universities, is the Erasmus Plus program. I don't know if any of you is familiar with this program, but this is a European Union scholarship offered to every European student. And this allows this student to take 1 year of the bachelor's degree abroad in another European university. So it's very interesting because if a bachelor's degree has a 4-year duration, you can take 1 year of these 4 and go to another country, to another university to see how the system is different in another countries, to learn a new culture, a new language. Finally, any diploma, any certification expedited by a public university in Spain would automatically be recognized in all these countries without having to go through an homologation process, a validation process. As you can see here, the Philippines are not marked in this map, but this is not a problem. Any diplomas or any certificates expedited by a public university would also be recognized in the Philippines. You just need to go through an homologation process, a validation process, which is really easy to make. You just need to come back to your country and validate your diploma in the local education authorities. How to access to Spanish university. So first of all, the first requirement you will get is to speak Spanish. As you can imagine, Spain is not a typical English-speaking country. So for public universities and mostly for all the private ones, you will need a Spanish language certificate to be able to access to them. To access to a bachelor's degree in any public or private university, you will also need a high school diploma and the transcript of the last 2 years of high school, the grades you got and everything like that. To access to a master's degree, a bachelor's degree diploma will be required, plus the transcript of the subjects. Usually we say there are no admission tests to enter in any bachelor's or master's degree, but this is not actually true. There are few bachelor's degrees like medicine, dentistry, some engineerings that are very high demanded. So some of these bachelors might have some admission tests to get admitted into them. But the rest, business, tourism, finance, marketing, all of these fields will be free of admission tests to get into them. Finally, I will talk about Campus Spain, okay? So as I was saying in the beginning, Campus Spain is an organization created alongside the Public University of Vigo. Our main aim is to help international students to be able to come to Spain to take their university studies abroad. How do we do that? By doing the LCA year first. So LCA is the program we have created alongside the university I just said, and LCA stands for Language, Culture, and Adaptation to University Life. These are the 3 points that we have considered to be the most important for international students to success once they start the university here. First of all, language, of course, as I said, because first is the first requirement that you will get for accessing to a Spanish university. And also, even if you enter into an English taught program or to a bilingual program, language would be highly recommended because you will need Spanish in your day-to-day life. Second, culture. We like to give this cultural approach to the program because we believe this is the best way to integrate into Spanish society. So we will make trips with you. You will have invitation to theaters. We will participate in local celebrations and many more things. Finally, the last point, adaptation to university life. Our academic team will have individual counseling sessions with every student just to help them get the best of the experience. How do we do that? So with personalized interviews, we will make sure that all the process, all in Spanish language learning, all the procedures for the admission to the university one, we will counsel you in terms of which city would be better for your specific studies, which university would be better. You can even make some trial classes if you have some doubts between the maybe 2 or 3 programs that you want to pursue later. We will help you with everything, with every possible thing you can think of. So the University of Vigo, which is our partner for creating this program, Vigo is the city in the northwest of Spain, and it's located here in the map, very close to the Portuguese border and bathed by the Atlantic Ocean. It's a medium-sized city of about 300 million people, and the campus is quite big for national media, more or less. It brings together more than 20,000 students, which is quite big, as I was saying. It's very famous for engineering-related studies. So it brings together a lot of national students and some international students as well. And Vigo, as I was saying, it's a beautiful city, very livable, very walkable. It's not huge like Madrid or Barcelona, but it's not very small. So you have all the advantages from a big city and all the advantages from a smaller town. So what we do for our students, let's recap about that. Before the arrival, we process the admission to the LCA course. We will deal with visa applications for you. We will help you with every documents preparation that you will need. We will make a medical insurance for you to be covered while you will be here. And we will help you with the accommodation search. We will provide with some accommodations for you to book and with the journey preparation. Once you will arrive to Spain, we will pick you up at the airport. We will give you a welcome pack with a SIM card, a transportation card. We will give you a city and a campus tour, and we will work with you for your residence permit and to open a bank account, for example, these kind of things you will need. Finally, during your stay here, as I was explaining before, you will receive academic orientation at every time you need it. We will help you with the homologations of every academic documents that you bring with you. We will deal with the university admissions, which is the most important part, I think. And obviously, you will have an emergency contact 24/7 in case you need anything at any time. So what's the cost of this program? The LCA year has a cost of 7,900 euros. This is the total fee for the LCA program and will only be paid once during the first year. After that, you will receive the certificate of Spanish language by the Public University of Vigo. And this will be exactly the thing that will allow you to enter into the public university system I was talking about before and benefit from the very low tuition fees that the public universities offer. So, for example, in a bachelor's degree, you will typically have a 4-year duration program of about 700, 800 euros per year. And for a master's degree, you will have a typical tuition fee of around 1,000 euros to 2,000 euros. And programs in a master's degree will differ between 1-year program and 2-year programs. About the cost of living in Spain, if we compare it with any other European or Western countries, as you can see in this chart, the cost of living is very affordable. So, for example, if we look into the accommodation option, you can see that in Spain, a typical individual room in a shared apartment with other students could be around 350 euros. If we compare it with the United States, for example, or Australia, it's more than 1,000 euros for that same option. So the LCA year has 2 annual intakes. One starts in September and goes until June, and the other one starts in January and ends in June, July. Both have the same number, the same amount of hours of Spanish lessons, and that is why the cost for both annual intakes is the same. This means that the semester option would be a little bit more intense in terms of how many hours of lessons do you have per week. And that is also why we recommend the annual option, because it will give you also a more in-depth feeling of knowledge of the culture and the language and everything. So if you are interested into coming to Spain to study, this is the typical procedure we will follow. First of all, you will need to fill an application form and send it back to us alongside a copy of your passport. Then we will need to verify your academic documents. Again, just a quick recap. To access to a bachelor's degree, you will need the high school diploma and the last 2 years of the transcript of the last 2 years of the high school. To access to a master's degree, only you will need the bachelor's degree diploma. Once we verify all these documents, we will make a personal interview with every student. And this will be just a personal conversation to know, to get to know you better, and also that you can ask any doubts you have about the process. Once we complete the interview, we will submit the application to the University of Vigo, which will be the ones deciding if you will be accepted or not. If you will be accepted, an offer letter will be received, and you will need to make a reservation payment of 1,500 euros to secure your seat in the program. This reservation payment will be deducted from the total fee of the LCA that we saw before. So first you will pay 1,500 euros, and then the rest, it will be 6,400 euros. Finally, once we receive this reservation payment, we will start with the visa process, visa application process. And you will only pay the rest once the visa will be granted. So this seems like a lot of work, but again, we deal with mostly anything. You just need to provide us with a police clearance certificate in order to see that everything is good with you, a medical certificate, just so we can make the medical insurance that will cover you. And finally, some bank statements will be required in some cases for the visa application process. This will be a requirement that the embassy will make for some of the students, but not for everyone. The typical bank statements that will be needed for a student to be able to support their life there will be 10,000 euros in a bank account. It doesn't have to be in a separate account or a blocked account. You just need to prove you or your sponsor have this money to be able to support your life in Spain. And that will be all. The rest, as you can see, we deal with it. We deal with the admissions, with the invitation letter for the visa. We will deal with all the fees payments at universities. You will have the Spanish course, the Spanish certificate. You will receive the certificate for accommodation as well to enter in the country, because we will provide you with one. And we will make also the medical insurance I was talking about. And I think that will be all from my side. So if you have any more questions, these are my contact details. Please, I invite you to follow us on social media as well. With the hashtag Campus Spain, you can look for us in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So that will be all from my side. Thank you very much for your time. And now we have all the time to answer your doubts and questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Alberto. So, everyone, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic or type your questions here on the chat box. Thank you. So
okay, let me just open the chat.
There.
Okay, so first question I have is, how much does an international student spend for the cost of living, inclusive of rent, utilities, transportation, food? So typically we work with an amount of 600 euros per month. This would be slightly higher if you decide to study in one of the bigger cities like Madrid or Barcelona, for example, or even Valencia. You will need to add like 100 euros to that, but you can perfectly manage all your expenses with 550 euros, 600 euros in a smaller town.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, is there any scholarship, like tuition fee?
So for the LCA program, we don't offer any scholarship because it's It's a compulsory program that international students must do before entering the Spanish university system. But for once they start the university, once your students start university, scholarships will be offered depending on the university. First of all, we don't like to say there are national scholarships because you have the option to be admitted into a public university. And again, public universities are highly subsidized. So up to 90% of the tuition fee will be already paid. This is more than some scholarships that offer maybe other countries to access to their universities. This is much more than these scholarships. So we don't like to say we offer scholarships, but the main reason is because every student has the right to benefit from this very low tuition. Aside of this very low tuition fees and very affordable tuition fees, you, depending on the university you choose, you will be able to benefit from some special scholarships that the university will offer to you. So for example, just to give a practical example, if you choose any university in the southern region of Andalusia, let's say University of Granada, and you want to study business administration there. So first year, you will need to pay the very low tuition fee for a public university. But during the first year, if you pass all the subjects, during the second year, you won't need to pay anything because this university offers a scholarship of excellence. So every student that passes all the subjects can benefit from 0 tuition fees. These are special cases that you will see once you will be here and you will be exploring all your options.
Thank you so much, sir. And there's another question in the chat box.
Sure. What are other expenditures of certain students aside from the basic necessities? So again, trips, for example, trips and activities are included in the fee, in the tuition fee you pay for the LCA year. So aside of the basic things like food, accommodation, transportation, and these kind of things, there are no more compulsory expenditures that need to be covered by a student. The rest is up to you. I mean, if you want to spend your money in your leisure time by going to the gym or doing trips all around Spain, this will be up to you. And another question, how long is the LCA course? So the LCA course will take the first year in Spain. You can start again in September and go until June for the whole academic year. This is the typical academic year in Spain, September to June. So you have the 1-year option for all the academic year, and you have a semester option that runs from January to June as well. Both intakes finish in June because this is the month universities process admissions. So once every student will be admitted in Spanish universities, we will finish the LCA course. And I have one more question here. Can a student work part-time while studying? Yes. With a student visa, students are allowed to work part-time up to 30 hours per week. This will be usually enough to cover your monthly expenses. So you can expect a salary depending on obviously on the job you get, but usually will be enough to cover your monthly expenses. For students that access to a master's degree, so they already have a bachelor's degree, they can also find a more qualified part-time job. So usually the salaries would be a little bit higher as well. Is it easy to find a job? Yes. So as you might know, Spain is a very touristic country. So we have a lot of tourism-related positions, which is which are very famous for part-time jobs, and they are constantly renewing their professionals there. So it's very easy to find a position in a restaurant or like hotel management position. These kind of things, tourism related, are very easy to get.
Okay, sir, thank you. Sir, how about the IELTS? IELTS, is there an IELTS? It's like an English test.
Okay, so about IELTS, we actually don't have any requirement for English speaking because, again, Spain is not a typical English speaking country. So for the LCA program, no IELTS would be required. The only case an English level certificate will be required is if once you completed the LCA, you want to start the university and want to start an English taught program, then yes, a certification in English language would be required for that.
Okay, sir, thank you. There's another question from chat box. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Okay, sir. I think it's tagging. Is there, thank you.
Yeah, I think it froze. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think it's okay. There's another question from Miss Caroline.
How about ESL part-time position? Can you explain what ESL means? Because I'm not sure about it. Like English as a second language. Okay. Yeah, that would be very common as well. If you are a native speaker of English language, you can also easily find student reinforcement classes that will be paid quite good, actually. You can also access to lecture positions. I don't know if it's called like this. So usually English teachers bring native speakers of the language to universities, high schools, middle schools. So these are called lecture positions that you can also access to them. Okay, I see another question. Can you confirm the upfront expenses needed more or less for the LCA program aside from the monthly expenses? I can't really tell you. As I was saying before, it depends on the student. I mean, the basic necessities are that accommodation, food, transportation, and maybe some leisure time. Aside of that, you won't have any more expenses. The accommodation usually includes like internet, Wi-Fi, includes the electricity and everything. So no more monthly expenses will be had aside of the base.
Hello.
Do we have more questions? Okay, you mean how is the full tuition fee for the LCA program and the payment? Okay, so the full tuition fee for the LCA is 7,900 euros. This will be done for sure in 2 installments. First one is a reservation payment of 1,500 euros, and this will be done before starting the visa process, just to secure the seat in the program. Once we finish with the visa application process and the visa will be granted, you will pay the rest of the tuition fee, which will be 6,400 euros.
Sir, I think we missed the question from Miss Caroline.
Oh, sorry. Filipinos are not native speakers though, but Filipinos are very well versed when it comes to the English language. Yes, I know that. Is there a possibility that we can teach English? If you have a level certificate in English, you won't have any trouble um, by accessing to a position in an academy or something like that. If you don't have any certificate that proves the fluency needed to become a teacher, you can try to give private classes to students that will be paid, of course, as well. And usually are paid quite good, as I was saying. To become a teacher, to become in like a high school teacher and that, you will need a bachelor's degree for that, for sure. But just like a part-time job or something like that, you can easily access to that. The entire Spain uses euro as money currency, right? Yes, that is correct. We use euro as most of the European countries does.
Sir, is there an age limit?
Sorry?
Age limit.
Age limit. We actually don't have an age limit to access to university, but in terms of visas, let's say that younger students have higher possibilities to get the visa. But there are no age limits as per that. The thing that usually embassies look more than the age is that the gap between the studies, how many time has passed since you completed your last studies and you will apply for the new ones. So for example, let's say you finish high school in 2022 and you want to apply to a bachelor's degree now, 2023. Even if you are 26, 25, it doesn't matter. It's a very short period since you completed your last certification for studies and you are applying for the next one. But let's say you have completed your bachelor's degree in 2016 and you have been working during these years, and now in 2023 you want to apply to a master's degree. You have a 7-year gap between your studies, and that will be seen in a different way by the embassy, and you will have fewer chances of getting the visa. But there are no age limits as such.
Yes, mostly sir in embassy only.
Correct.
Sir, how about the pathway after the study? Like they can have PR or just like that, they can have the full-time work after their study.
Once the student finishes the studies in Spain, it doesn't matter if it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, they can extend the student visa for 2 more years. Within these 2 years, if they find a job in Spain, the student visa will automatically be converted into a working visa, and they can stay in the country as long as you will be working. If you achieve at least 5 years of working and living in Spain, you will be able to ask for the citizenship.
Sir, thank you. So everyone, do you have any questions before we end? Okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Alberto.
Thank you very much, Emilio. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. I think no more questions. It's all good. Just share my screen for just a bit. Hold on. Okay. So okay, here. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sir Alberto. So if you have any questions, you can send us a message here at ATC Education Marketing Europe or to our Gmail etcedueurope@gmail.com, and to our WhatsApp +63 905 527 4254. So again, thank you, Sir Alberto. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Reina. Thank you, Sir Emilio. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, Cams, for the opportunity of speaking today, and thank you all for attending to this little webinar we had. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a great evening.
So thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And moving for finance.